Hi friends, today we're in the Utah Valley University Library at the Roots of Knowledge display. And a local newspaper said that this was one of the 100 places to see in Utah, and we're happy that we're going to be able to show it to you today. So these panels represent 4 or 5 years of work, thousands of man hours, 42,000
plus
individual pieces of glass, stained glass. It's really a wonder. Thanks for joining us today.
I'm Hannah. I'm one of the docents here at Roots of Knowledge. Roots of Knowledge is this massive art piece that was made by Holdman Studios. Holdman Studios, over here there's a video of the making process. If you want to watch that later, it's interesting. It was made in 2016 for the 75th anniversary of UVU, and it took Holdman Studios 4 years to complete the entire piece. It's a combination of stained glass, painted glass. The painted glass was when they took ground up glass and mixed it with oil to make a special kind of paint that they would then paint on the glass and fire so it would stay with the rest of the paint, stay with the rest of the glass, and not fade over time. And we also have some real life artifacts in the piece. So over here, we start with this tree. And this tree is what we like to call the tree of knowledge. It is based off of a real life tree in Northern California called the Methuselah pine, named Methuselah after the Old Testament prophet who was known for his incredible old age.
So are you talking about this thing with the 3 panels?
Yep, this first panel over here.
Okay.
This big tree right here is the Methuselah pine. It is a bristlecone pine tree in Northern California, and it is the oldest tree that we have record of. It is the oldest current living tree. And scientists estimate that it is about 5,000 years old. And you'll notice that the roots of this tree travel along the entire bottom of the piece and come all the way over to this tree on the other end. Do you guys notice anything special about the shape of this tree? You're right. You're right. It looks like a hand. And that hand is holding a great torch. This tree we call the tree for the hope of humanity. And it is that hand holding that torch representing the light that we carry and that we pass from generation to generation with our knowledge. And you'll notice that the branches of this tree has actually the top panel all the way back here to the beginning. This is representative of the fact that we need to look back through our history in order to pass that light and that knowledge forward to future generations. So that's a couple more basics.
How many panels are there?
Ooh.
Oh, it's okay.
Aren't there 26, not panels, but
There are 26
of these
columns.
Okay.
26 times 3? Anyone here better at math than I am?
78.
Wonderful. There are probably 78. So here along these top panels, we have different forms of writing and how they evolved through history. Writing and communication. That's primarily what's going to be seen in the top panels. And in the bottom panels, we have some real-life artifacts, such as real fossils, real coins, some seashells from the Sea of Galilee, real gemstones. Also, we have a $1,000 bill.
Oh, wow.
We have all sorts of crazy real-life artifacts in the bottom panel of the glass. And then in the middle section, as well as the bottom section, we'll be seeing some big monuments and important people throughout this timeline of history. So if you have any other questions about anything in any of the panels, feel free to let me know and I'll do my best to answer those questions for you.
So recently there was a story or a video about places you should see in Utah, or what was that?
Yeah, it was like 100 places to visit in Utah.
100 places that you should see in Utah, and this was the cover. This was the lead.
That's awesome. I agree. It's definitely
amazing.
a must-see.
Yeah, we can.
Really beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, we can.
Thanks, Hannah.
put that
Yes,
somewhere
of
if you'd
course.
like.
So you're going to be broadcast all over the world.
He has
So exciting.
He has 500,000 subscribers. Believe it or not,
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm flattered. Hopefully I did an okay job.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Hannah.
If you have any other questions about anything in the panels, I can do my best to answer them. There's a lot.
Thank you so much.
This one is origins. The earth is pictured here in the center. The roots of the tree of knowledge course through here and nourish the first signs of animal life on the planet. The story of a human family begins. Man and woman blossoming on the middle picture and early forms of written communication, humankind's growing mastery over the earth in the Stone Age. This is the seeds of civilization. Agriculture is replacing hunting and gathering, enabling cities to build buildings and explore. Here's the agriculture on the bottom. The beauty of the ancients in building and written wisdom. We have Confucius, Aesop's Fables, and Solomon's Proverbs in the top windows. The lower window is a wonder of the ancient world, the hanging gardens of Babylon, a majestic marriage of horticulture and agriculture. Developing ways to practice their creeds, knowledge, and faith. Towering edifices laden with precious metals. Magnificent statues of religious leaders are gathering around the campfire to hear stories. The featured images provide them identity and purpose to move forward. This is a pivotal period conveying ancient wisdom of Greek philosophy, Chinese Taoism, and Indian medicine. The recreation of the school of Athens to honor the ancient Greeks, Plato, Aristotle, and Archimedes that inspired the thinkers of the time. In this panel, Socrates charged us to know thyself. Cicero addressing the Roman Senate. The lighthouse of Alexandria lights the way for the ships approaching the city of learning. Age was often defined by military conquest, but the teacher's pen could prove mightier than the soldier's sword. Some of the most important places and events of history were not always so visually monumental. Jesus Christ at the Sermon on the Mount, a Jewish rabbi who gained a devoted following. Jesus of Nazareth introduced ideas by which believers could better serve their God and fellow man. After he was crucified by the Roman government, his followers believed he was resurrected and that he was the Son of God, as foretold by Jewish prophets. This panel represents the dark ages of European history, but other parts of the world, the roots of knowledge thrived. The earliest chronicles of Japanese history, known as Kojiki, and the supreme religious text of Islam known as the Quran, authored by the Prophet Muhammad in the 7th century, and the subsequent Islamic Golden Age. This column represents the light shining forth into darkness. The center panel has the rising sun signaling a new dawn. In this column, we go through time, we see on the bottom the signing of the Magna Carta in around 1200. Next. This column represents the rebirth, 15th century Renaissance. We have Leonardo da Vinci, Johannes Gutenberg, Martin Luther, and Christopher Columbus. In this column, called All the World's a Stage, we see William Shakespeare plus a map of the world. These two columns on the bottom show vessels carrying goods and treasures all over the world. Next. This column represents the 17th century. It's called Upon the Shoulder of Giants. It features Galileo and Isaac Newton. This column represents the 18th century. The Right to Dream. The feature here is the emergence of the American Revolution, Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson. Next. This column represents how freedom movements shape nations, and the last corners of the map are explored. Lewis and Clark, Sacagawea. This column, the early decades of the 19th century. English poet John Keats says that beauty is truth, truth, beauty. Next. This column represents unbounded nations, featuring political documents and stately edifices. And this column represents the Industrial Revolution, the discovery of electricity, cars, airplanes, and steel structures scraping the sky. Next. This column represents the shift in the arts and sciences. We see Albert Einstein in the top panel, and the buildings getting taller, more airplanes, train stations, and movie palaces. This column represents the Great Depression, World War II, the Holocaust, Atomic Age, and Cold War. And a series of other disasters through these perilous times. Civilization was victorious and proved that the forces of freedom and truth are more powerful than the forces of tyranny and hatred. Next. This column represents the world after World War II. Changes were made in housing, in industry, and technology. Landing a man on the moon, and connecting the world through global communications. This column represents education and the pursuit of knowledge in a cutting-edge classroom. Luxurious buildings, even taller, high-speed transit system below the seas, and limitless galaxies waiting to be explored. This is the last panel. It's called The Hope for Humanity. The roots of knowledge have come full circle. From the first panel, where we saw the roots and the branches extending from the tree of life and the tree of knowledge, and it connected through all these panels to the final one. This is the tree of hope for humanity, and it symbolizes the transfer of knowledge and wisdom to a new generation who will carry with them the light to illuminate the world in the future. Thanks for being with us today. We love you guys and hope to see you again.